All right, we're on record. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Exciting stuff going on in our lives, in our business. We had probably one of the most exciting qualifiers day, hang on one second, that I've ever experienced in all the years that I've been around. It was pretty intense. It was hilarious as well. So before we go on, anybody want to make a comment about what their qualifiers day was like?
Would you like me to go?
Yes. Yeah, you got a funny story of laughter and
macaroni. So we started the day really wanting to close out at 12 Club so that we can go to the Eltons in Tampa, and it was moving and grooving and multitasking and baby juggling, and we ended up knowing that it was in place by 2 p.m. And then at 2 p.m., we're like, oh, right. And we have to help Denise fast track to sales coordinator too. And in the midst of 40 minutes, while I'm juggling 3 kids, literally in 40 minutes, a fast track HLP, a fast track VF, which put Denise at the fast track sales coordinator. And in the midst of that, I'm wiping tushes because I have 2 toddlers that have pooped. And then while I'm over here doing this one, I'm on the phone with Nikki and checking Voxer. And I look over, I put the baby in the bathtub because she was trying to get in the toilet. And I look over, she's got the shampoo and the conditioner. It's all over her. She's eating it and it's in her eyes. And so I'm checking Voxer and talking to Nikki and I'm giving her a bath. And then downstairs, the other toddler is somehow outside in the front. I don't even know where she is. And then she's pooping and I'm wiping her tush. And then I'm checking the Voxer, I'm checking Nikki, and I'm calling Michael. And he's on hold with corporate, so he can't talk on the phone, so we can only text. And all I can tell you is after all of that was said and done, it was quite a trifecta.
It was a trifecta. It was really fun. It was trifecta of 3 bums and then 3... an HLP, a fast track VF, and a fast track sales coordinator, all in about the period of 40 minutes. It was pretty crazy, intense, and fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. I don't know if anybody can beat that, so maybe we should get started.
Go.
All right. So tonight, Chris and I were talking. Chris has a coach, and the last couple times I've been privileged enough to be on the calls with Chris and the coach, and some stuff came up, and when we got done with the coaching call, we sat down and we kind of looked at each other and said, well, do you have any more clarity? And as soon as we got some clarity on a few things, there was this, it wasn't that anything had happened. It wasn't that we had made up a whole new plan. It wasn't that we had.
Although we did make up.
Well, we did, but that wasn't really part of it.
Right.
It wasn't that something was set necessarily in motion, is that we had clarity from which to move forward. And that there was such a sense of relief with some clarity. So what we want to talk about, you want to,
Yeah.
Okay, cool,
So,
you go.
Thank you. No, it's Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Hugo was my brother.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I guess what we want to talk about tonight is clarity for, what we do, why we do it, and who shows up. And I kind of want to start off just by asking you, if you are 100% satisfied with where your business is right now today, raise your hand. Okay? Okay. All right, got a few. We know that a lot of people, whether you're new in the business or you've been around for a long time, that you get in a certain location, certain plateau, and you can't seem to move. Or you get on a phone call and you're not sure what to say. We believe that a lot of it is lack of clarity. And if you have lack of clarity, you're going to create some confusion. And that creates an energetic impediment. And you'd have lack of direction. And then you have lack of action because you don't know where to go. I'm talking about your next step or your next conversation or in the conversation that you're in. So we just want to see if we can bring some clarity so that everybody on the call could come out of this half an hour feeling empowered. Okay? So one of the first things you need clarity for is, are you clear what we do? What is it that we do? And I'm going to put that out. You can unmute yourself and just, if you feel you're clear on what we do as Juice Plus reps, give me an answer.
Just what is it that we do? Patty.
We talk to people.
Okay, what else do we do?
We spread good health.
Okay.
Good.
Anybody else?
Heidi?
Impact lives.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Educate.
Empower them to make better choices for their health.
Good.
Invest in relationships.
Wow.
Excellent.
Keep going.
Yeah, I always say we help people help themselves to better health and wealth.
Okay.
Okay.
We educate.
We give people options.
We shine love.
All right. All right. I love it all. That's all good stuff.
And Chris, Raquel's on the call too. I know you can't see me. I'm so sorry. I couldn't download the Zoom. I don't have enough space on my phone.
That's
Great.
okay.
But could I, just so you know, I'm on. I'd love to make my comment on that too.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm so happy
I
you're
think
on, Raquel. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, no, thank you for having me. I believe we guide and we mentor. We see someone who's thirsty and we guide them to water. I like to think of it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Those are all great answers. And one could summarize it by saying what our mission is, which is we inspire healthy living around the world.
No, what I was just going to say is how fun that was for you guys to fly out of your mouth, out of your brain as quickly as you did what we're doing. And everything that everybody says has significant impact. And I'm curious, you don't need to answer this, but I would love for you to ponder this a little bit. Do you go throughout the day and realize that's what we do? How many other people in other jobs get to say, I think there were at least 10 items that people were throwing out that were all significant, impactful, that were from the heart. How many people do you think get to go through their lives and go, this is what I do?
Yes.
It's pretty powerful.
I'm going to talk more about this later also, but I noticed nobody says we sell Juice Plus. I appreciate that. So good job. And so why are we doing this? And we're going to talk maybe a little bit about your individual why, but what I'm asking you now, kind of in the big picture of things, why do we do this?
So what are your answers for why do we do this?
To make an impact in the world.
Okay, what else?
Because we care.
Good.
To leave a good thumbprint on what we do to impact lives for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that. To leave
And for me, it's I just get tired of people being complacent with being comfortable with having lists of medications. So it's trying to help them see a better way.
Great. Raquel, did you have something? Okay.
Because it's the right thing to do.
I agree with that, Michael.
That's funny. We were going to summarize what everybody said with, that's because it's the right thing to do. And why we do it is that this is it, right? You didn't talk about that?
Yeah, first, it's because we live from our values, okay? It's who we are. It's in alignment with who we are, okay?
So if, in fact, your core values have to do with integrity, compassion, empowerment, love, whatever your core values are, that's where we get to be aligned with what we do here. That's the big overview of our why. We get to stay aligned to our core values. And so what I would like to challenge all of you is to think about what your 3 core values are and see how this intersects with what we're doing. Get really clear on that.
You want to write down 3 gifts?
That's not the gifts, that's different.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Oh, am I there now?
Yeah, unless you want to talk about personal why, but I think.
Yeah, no, I think that would be really cool. So we had a bigger overview of, why we do this as a culture, why we do this as a group. But I would like to hear some of your whys. Anybody would raise their hand to tell me what their why is, why they do this on a personal level.
Beth has her hand. Beth, you're on.
So you have to unmute yourself. There you go.
I did. So authenticity. Can you hear me? Authenticity, living my dreams, and always walking my talk, walking my walk, and always growing.
So that's the bigger value piece, but I'm asking why you do this. Those are your values?
That's what I thought you were asking.
Yeah, so I'm asking more of a very specific question. Why?
Your personal.
Your personal why. Why do you do this? It takes time, It takes learning. It takes a lot of investment on your time. Why would you do this? What is it that what's your personal why? Heidi, you had your hand up a couple times.
Beth goes, she's
Oh, Beth, do you want to, okay.
I have found along this journey that I'm still new at that I can impact more people through this vehicle than any other I've been using.
Excellent.
Numbers, and it's also more accessible to people than, say, homeopathy. Not everybody's ready for that.
Okay, so your why is to impact people. Why?
Why do I want to impact people?
Why? Yeah.
It's part of my mission as a human to live along with my core values, one of which all my life has been learning about and sharing wellness on every level. What that means is just...
I'm not done. So what does that give to you?
What does it give me?
Yeah.
Gives me an authentic life, which is most important, and constant growth.
Okay, so
Those
those
are the
are
most important parts of it for me.
Those are the deepest part. Your why for doing this is because you value growth in such an important, deep way and authenticity. This allows you to experience those two things while being on your mission of helping others. Who else? Heidi.
I'll go. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got really clear on this pretty recently. It is a why that makes me cry. And, you know, I've seen my parents suffer with illness my whole life. And I don't want, you know, my why is to educate people to understand that they don't, through making the right choices, that they don't have to suffer the same.
Why is that important to you?
Because I care about people and I don't want them to have to suffer like they did.
And what does that bring you?
It brings me great joy.
Okay.
And satisfaction.
So your why
and
is
a sense of fulfillment.
So your why relates to your own joy and your deep satisfaction, and that comes from you helping people, and this vehicle allows you to get to that joy and that fulfillment by helping people. So your really deep why is about joy and fulfillment. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to get very clear on your why. It's not just yes, we watch people suffering when we don't want them to suffer, but what is that internally? Where does that touch us in the deepest core place of why it's important for us to shift that for other people? That's where I want you to go in terms of clarity. Okay.
Did AJ, did you raise your hand?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay, all right.
Because I'm not super clear on, I mean, I get what you're saying. So it's a whole like domino thing where you have to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Right, and it takes some time.
It does.
Yeah.
And anybody else, real quick?
I would say, this is Leslie. I would say my why is because my family and I were failed by Western medicine. And I have learned that you have to be your own advocate because you have your family's best interests at heart, and the doctors really don't, and they don't know, other than pharmaceuticals, what to do with you. Mm-hmm. So I don't want other people to go through the misdiagnoses and things of that sort that our family suffered through for many years.
And so that's why do you do the business? Why would you just not refer them all to Patty? Why bother to do the business?
Well, because certainly the income from the business helps pay off medical bills that we've accrued over the years, but it's also, I'm enjoying the sense of community and being a bigger part of, people on the same mission. I love the mission of this company.
It's really interesting when you keep asking the question why, right? What came out for you, what's really important for you, what you value, Leslie, is community. And this is a place where you can do that other piece that's important to you, to not have families go through you, dude, but you can do it in a deeper way for yourself by being part of a community, and that gives you some sense of joy or fulfillment. I don't know what words I'm using that word, but what is it for you? And you need to get clear, really clear on that. And there's a reason why you need to be clear on that. Okay. So,
can I say something really? Oh.
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question. I have been, every time I hone in on a why that is more related to sense of fulfillment, love for people, I'm always told it's the wrong why. So I find it really interesting that you're saying that
Holly,
finding joy and fulfillment is a good goal.
well, here's another piece to it. And I think
Does that make sense?
Yes, but I think what I think is really important also is that I want to hear, like, for example, if I was to give you an example for a mom to say, I'm doing this to make $500 extra a month so I can put my child in private school. That sounds pretty doggone important, but there's something deeper than that. That is the important piece. But when you really go for it, if you really talk about it with that mom, it's because moms want to be the best mothers they can be. And when they provide that piece, which comes from money, when they provide that piece for their children, they have a sense that they're being great mothers. It's a deeper emotional attachment that gets them through the piece about the money. So I want you to understand where your heart attachment is, but I would like you to be able to come up with that piece of what is it that you're doing for this for you financially for your family. But it's not just about the money. It's something much more deeper that usually connects to the heart. Does that make sense to you guys?
Great.
Okay. So, Mariah, did you want to go? You're going forward in and out. I can't. And we got.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I'm a healthcare provider. I feel like I can already feel like I can impact lives, but in being a healthcare provider, I don't get to do it in my own timing. I don't get to help people from a financial standpoint if they can't afford what I'm suggesting, and I'm taken away from my family. And so to be able to still feel like I'm impacting lives and potentially impacting people's financial livelihood, and in the process, be a present mom with my kids, bring my husband home, and then allow our dreams to get bigger and allow our kids to play a part in those dreams expanding.
Yeah. So Mariah, in the world where Michael's home, you're doing really well financially, all bills are paid off, you're home, like this business is just a wow, and you're getting some of the bucket lifts. What does that feel like to you? Like if you can transport yourself to the spot.
Right, it feels like freedom.
Yeah. Wow. It's a big word. And there's this, oh gosh, freedom. Wow. Okay.
Something we all deserve.
So what I would love for all of you to do, if you've got a pencil and paper, it's only going to take like, I don't know, a minute at the most for you to write this down, but I hope that you have pencil and paper. And what I'm going to ask each of you to do is to write down, and you can write down more than 3, but I want you to write down at least 3 gifts that you personally bring with you wherever you are. How you are being, what are your gifts to the planet? What are the gifts that you feel you have to offer up as a person? Looks like most of you have figured out at 3. Did anybody write more than 3? Cool. You wrote 4. Okay, cool, Heidi. Cool. I was just curious if anybody wrote more than 3. Would anybody?
I wrote 4.
Okay.
Sorry, you guys can't see me, so I just have to talk.
Okay, go ahead,
Sorry.
Raquel.
But I wrote 4.
Well, since you spoke up, Raquel, would you be willing to share all 4 of them with us?
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Passion, openness, curiosity, and unconditional love.
Fantastic.
Wow. Great. So that was great. Anybody else? What 3 gifts do you bring? Patty, do you bring?
Oh, sorry, I was trying to unmute there. So I bring encouragement. I feel like I am an encourager to people. Visionary. I feel like I can see things that are possible, and belief in others. And then love. I feel like I can love people sometimes when other people can't love them.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
How about you,
Yeah.
Julia Pell? I'm calling you out, Julie.
You got me.
Uh-huh.
I wrote down strength, smile, and possibility.
Great.
All
Thank you. Thank you for playing.
Who else wants to go?
I'll go.
Carrie.
Larry.
I wrote down compassion, integrity, servant's heart, and love.
Okay, time for one more.
Yeah, one more?
I'll go.
Okay.
Kirsten, fun, sense of acceptance of others and non-judgment, laughter, and love.
Great. So the question is, all of you wrote down gifts, and I hope that all of you are looking at those gifts and going, these are good gifts. Like, these are good things to bring to the planet, right? Is there anybody that looked at their gifts and wished they were different? I hope not.
You did.
Yeah, you don't want to know. But hopefully you feel good about those gifts that you're bringing. And of course, you bring way more than 3. Those are the first 3 that popped into your mind. What if every time you approached anybody, anytime, but particularly I'm talking right now in our Juice Plus life, in our Juice Plus world,
Conversation.
in our Juice Plus conversations, bringing up the possibility of somebody looking, the if I would you, if I sent you a video, would you, or inviting to look at the business, or inviting to look at inviting to come onto an event. Just what if, before you did that text, before you did that call, before you did whatever, you reminded yourself of those 3 gifts and you actually thought about them, and as you were having that conversation, you were bringing the energy of those 3 gifts to that interaction. How do you think it would change the interaction if you consciously, before you picked up the phone, before you made a text, you thought about those 3 gifts, those were important pieces of who you are, and you brought that to the event, whatever the event was? Do you think it would shift how it would look?
Or how,
Yeah.
I think,
yeah, or how you would feel doing it. Your enthusiasm, your passion.
I think my energy would shift all the way if I focused that that's what I'm gifting to others.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you become more responsible for the energy you're bringing in to that conversation.
Yeah, and with what's important to you, your core values, your heart, and what you
Mhm.
actually have to offer. You already know you have those things. They don't have
Right.
to be constructed. They don't have to be imagined. They don't have to be created. You just have to connect to them. That's all you need to do is connect to those gifts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, I think it would help us focus on like the bigger vision and result of things rather than focusing on the scarcity and fear of like where the conversation might go.
Exactly right.
Perfect segue. How did you do that? Do you have the gift of segue?
Yes. Thank you, Tunisia.
Wow.
You're welcome.
This is what we wanted you guys to come to, the clarity of this. We are just being ourselves, and we are remarkable people. We are bringing great gifts to the relationship, to the conversation. And exactly, Tunisia, that when you are bringing that energy, you're not having that energy between your ears that's saying, oh, I wonder what they think of me. Oh, I wonder if they think I'm trying to sell them something. Again, it's a showstopper. You get yourself all worked up before you pick up the phone because you don't have the clarity of what we're doing, who we are,
why we are doing it,
why we're doing it, and the gifts we're bringing. So we just want you to encourage you to just remember those gifts. And you guys are who we attract, all of us, because you guys are living your values and you guys are bringing gifts to the marketplace. And so don't accept anybody that you are talking to saying, oh, yeah, it sounds great, but I don't want to be a salesperson. Let them know this is who we are. This is not about sales. This is about living our values. And Redfield, the guy that wrote Celestine Prophecy, you might remember that book. He said, our only goal in life is to learn what we can and share what we know. Okay? And that's what we do. And so I'm going to ask you another question, but I think most of you have heard me say we bring at least 3 gifts to the marketplace. But you take the 3 gifts that we have the track record of bringing, which is inspiring healthy living around the world, but healthy physical body, healthy financial situation, healthy community, and healthy personal development, and combine those with, like we said, the gifts that you already bring in. Number one, you're going to have a lot more fun doing this, and you're going to be a lot more successful, because people will feel it. They'll pick up on your energy. And so I'm going to finish with one last question, which is it better to give or receive? Who wants to answer that?
Both.
Yeah! You guys are good. That's right. The perfect combination is harmony, equal parts of both. That's why this is an incredible way to create income, to change the family, to live the life you're designed to live, because we're just being who we are. We're living from our values. We're bringing the gifts, and we get paid for it. So that changes our lifestyle. So all we want is 100% of the planet to do the same thing. Okay? So back to you.
Yeah, I think we're just going to end this. I read this again, probably the 10th time I've read it in a variety of different places now. But every time I read it, I underline it, I put a star by it. And I think the important piece about why we do what we do is here in this paragraph by Brene Brown. And AJ, you know, we talked to you about the possibility of you somehow getting into the Brave Leaders, and you don't know much about it, but Brene Brown is absolutely stunning. And this quote is actually from the book of Gifts of Imperfection, but she quotes herself. In every book that she writes, she always picks back quotes from her previous books. And when I think about the fact that we are have an opportunity to bring our gifts to others and connect our gifts to other people's gifts, this just, I find this really inspiring. This is her definition of spirituality. And I really believe that we have an opportunity, understanding this quote, that what we do in this business with all of the pieces that we've talked about is really a spiritual way to be. Spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Mm-hmm. And knowing when Holly says, when Leslie says, I don't want other people to suffer the way our family suffered in the medical world, and somebody else says, I don't want to see Heidi says, I don't want to see other people suffer the way that my parents have suffered. It's because we are so deeply connected to one another as human beings. We have to remember that. That has to be a piece and a part of what and who we're about consciously, and I think it is definitely in our unconscious. So recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other. It's really powerful.
Right. So through unity and love, we're doing the right thing. So any comments before we close it up?
Absolutely. Could I make a suggestion for everyone too?
Yeah, sure, Raquel.
You may have mentioned this in one of your other calls. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. But Simon Sinek is also a really great public speaker and writer and motivational guy, coach. And he's got a great video, which I feel everyone should watch. And it's called The Golden Circle. And he talks about the power of why, and he repeats over and over, gives like historical examples and everything. And he says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's always about why. And he drives that point home so well. And I think that just like this call has been so encouraging, and I've been so motivated. I'm sure everyone, this kind of stuff is us sharpening each other, and that's a biblical reference. But I feel like that video could do that even more so. So yeah, suggestion, Simon Sinek.
And just so you know, we actually have shared that video several times on our Voxer chat. So I'm totally.
Oh, well, how about that?
Yeah. And I've read all of Simon's books, and I don't know who else has, but I know several of the people on here have read his books. We love him. So thank you for that addition.
Why don't you all unmute and we'll say goodbye to each other and go
Love
forward.
you guys. Thank you.
Love you both. Thank you very much.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.